So I have an update here about Delphi, and that is the arrest of Mitchell Westerman, the man who admitted to stealing the documents from Andrew Baldwin's office,
Okay.
Richard Allen's defense attorney. We have his affidavit of probable cause, which I'm not going to read through since it's just an update, but it's interesting. I mean, it's a Class A misdemeanor, so
Yeah.
he's probably gonna get a slap on the wrist. Like,
Isn't that what's her face got?
Carly Russell.
Yep, Carly Russell. She got 2 Class A misdemeanors, if I'm remembering correct.
Yep. It basically just outlines what happened. It's a PCA. So it outlines what happened, but with him being somebody who was in the military, worked with Andrew Baldwin, and has worked in, the legal system, while they may make an example out of him, but I feel like it's not going to be that big of a deal. And what is the purpose of charging him? Like, do you think that means anything?
Unless.
Do you think it had to be Andrew Baldwin pressing charges for this to happen?
No. Andrew Baldwin wouldn't be the one pressing charges.
It'd be the state.
Here. The state can choose to do that. Now, could they... Excuse me. Is there some kind of angle here where they're pressing Mitchell with charges to see if Andrew was really involved? Could it be a scare tactic? Because remember, what matters with charges, and this guy worked in the legal system, he knows what's going on. What matters with charges is if you get convicted. So are they just charging him and going to try and see if maybe there's more to this story and use the charge as leverage to find out more? Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And I'm not going down conspiracy hole or anything. That this is a very common, very known tactic. So it just makes me wonder, what's the angle here?
Yeah, so this talks about how October 5th, the evidence had been released to the public and that the police officers were told, about it, October 5th. It says that they were made aware that it was obtained illegally, and it talks about Indiana State Police Sergeant Jerry Holman was able to identify the individual in Texas as Mark Robert Cohen. Cohen was interviewed, and he gave them screenshots of Robert Fortson, which is the man who unalived himself. Okay. Screenshots with that, were from Robert to Mark. It talks about some of their conversations. Not really in detail or anything. It just mentions them. And then it talks about them conducting interviews with Baldwin and Rozzi and Richard Allen's defense team on October 12th. They conducted an investigation, basically, and Baldwin said that he believed they were taken illegally. Monday, October 9th, Westerman contacted Baldwin around 4 p.m. and requested to meet with him.
Okay.
Interesting, right?
This
is the first we're hearing of that. Westerman told Baldwin that he had used his cellular phone to take photographs, which were in Baldwin's conference room area. The photographs depicted the crime scene related to the criminal charges against Allen. He had done this a couple months prior, and he had shared them with an individual named Robert Fortson. Through the course of the investigation, law enforcement learned that Fortson shared these photos with another individual, which was Mark Cohen.
Okay. Dots are getting connected here.
So Baldwin said he did believe, in fact, they were the crime scene photos.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
So he basically confirmed.
Yeah.
There would have been side-by-side photographs which were previously used by the defense team in depositions. So he said, based on the timeline, Baldwin said, based on the timeline and what we had going on in this war room, yes, this is the crime scene photos, and I know what was sitting there, basically.
Jeez.
These side-by-side photos.
Well, I mean, does that change the narrative at all? Does it matter if they were crime scene photos or if they were, a signature page at the end? In my opinion, it shouldn't matter. It's the same crime. The severity of, the reaction of what happened because they were crime scene photos is much more serious, but you're still doing the same thing.
Yeah. So they give his confession, which he basically just says that he was in there. Baldwin wasn't in the room. He observed the copies. He didn't get permission from Baldwin. Baldwin also said he didn't give him permission. He took pictures of them. And he is freely and voluntarily signing this affidavit. And that's pretty much it. Now, I don't really know what to think of it. I mean, I think that if he truly did this, which I think he did, he should be charged. Absolutely. I don't think that's okay. That's this theft of active investigation, active court case that is being litigated. Like, clearly that's not okay to do that. These are two minors.
Yep.
This is like...
The stakes are huge here, and I think that is being taken into consideration, and that's probably part of the reason, because, in a situation like this, is this financially beneficial for the court to now charge him, or is the state potentially looking for a way to allow Baldwin and Rozzi back in, and by confirming they didn't have anything to do with this in this way, does this now allow them to no longer be grossly negligent?
Yeah, well...
You know what I mean?
Yeah, but see, grossly negligent has never been a standard for recusing or removing a lawyer from a case.
I hear you.
So it may be a way to do that.
Yeah.
But it's also, there's no legal precedent set with that previously to them.
No, I agree. Listen, in this whole case, I don't think there's a lot of legal precedent that's going on. We're seeing things that should never go on. There's things that are being done that are illegal. So, in a situation like this, do we see a judge, and I'm going tin hat here, do we see a judge which is coming out and saying, I have health issues, delaying stuff as long as she can go to make some backroom deal, and in order for her to allow them back in, is this charge going to be the green light for her to be like, hey, guys, I might have jumped the gun here. Now that I see the charges that are being brought against Mitchell, I can now reverse my previous statement that I don't believe you're grossly negligent. I don't believe that you're a problem for Richard Allen, and I believe I can let you back in. You know what I mean? Is she trying to reverse time here? Because the plan didn't work, and she's hoping, hey, let's just smooth all this over, and maybe my issues with the Supreme Court is going to be smoothed over too,
Yep. So, what's interesting here? We have this article which gives Allen Superior Court's statement about Judge Gold's recent hospital stay. After feeling under the weather for several days, Judge Gold consulted with her physician on November 2nd, 2023. Her doctor concluded that she required treatment for an urgent medical condition. Highlight November 2nd, 2023, okay? Judge Gold was subsequently admitted to a Fort Wayne hospital for inpatient treatment for several days. Since then, she has been working from home in coordination with her Allen Superior Court colleagues. Her fellow criminal division judges are handling Judge Gold's court calendar temporarily until she returns to office, which she expects to be soon. That was November 2nd. Well, what was going on November 2nd? Okay, so November 2nd, we have filings, right before that. So October 31st was the day all of that went down in court.
Yep.
So then we have 2 days later. So 2 days later, we have people digging up November 2nd, we have the Facebook being pointed out about the new lawyers, her following them on Facebook. We had a bunch of stuff getting exposed at this time. November 3rd is when it was official that she hired an attorney. So all of this was going on in the background. Like, we just got those filings November 3rd about her hiring an attorney. So guaranteed it probably happened the day before.
And then what's today's date?
November 24th.
Yeah, 24th. Okay. So I'm just curious.
And that
saying
just
that out
came
loud.
out a day ago.
Yeah.
That article.
I'm just curious to say it out loud for our viewers, because what I am guesstimating will happen next is something will come out somehow around Judge Goal, and it is going to be a healthcare reason that can change or alter behavior. That's what I think. I wonder if something is going to come out that's going to give the excuse of, well, of course, I wasn't in my right mind. I wasn't in my right mind. You know, a good thing to go to when you're making mistakes too, and again, I'm going tin hat here, but we've seen it before in the past, and that's why I'm bringing it up now, not saying it's happening now. But we've seen people that have made mistakes, and they claimed that they were an alcoholic or a drug addict, and that added to that behavior. And due to the, I forget the act right now. The Recovery Something Act of 1982 or 1987 or something like that says that there can't be any repercussions for somebody when they're trying to seek health care or fix themselves or whatever. So a lot of things have fallen through the cracks because of that. So I wonder if that's the direction we're seeing.
But
go
isn't
here.
that interesting that since that all went down in court to basically now, it appears that Judge Goal has been working from home and getting help from her fellow judges handling everything, her job, her duties.
Yeah.
Literally literally recluse to home. Like, I'm just wondering, is this a real condition? Is it? I don't know. You know, she's already done some things that look super dirty, so it's hard for me to just assume this is honest and not ask, is it really honest?
Yeah. Is this a way to be honest about the dishonest decisions? You know what I mean? Again, going back to something like alcoholism or drug addiction, something that, or an antidepressant, that a mood stabilizer, something that can change your mood and alter your behavior in a way that can make you make decisions that you wouldn't normally make. You know what I mean? And I think it's a fair question to ask without being considered, you know, going full tin hat, full conspiracy here. I think it's a fair question to ask based on everything that we've seen coming from Judge Goal.
I mean, her whole thing, you know, with having the cameras there, reading off this statement, it was extremely highly manipulative, which is another thing. We got the transcripts of what went down in her chambers with Rozzy and Baldwin and McClelland, and it does not look good.
Yeah.
It looks, it's literally exactly what Rosie, it's what he described. And, you know, McClelland, which is another thing I want to talk about real quick, and then we're going to move on, is the fact that McClelland was given the ability to build a case against Baldwin and Rosie without them having any idea, no ability to refute his evidence. There was no evidentiary hearing. That is messed up to have the police who investigated this crime and put it on Richard Allen, says that he's the guy, and have them, along with the prosecutor, after they just filed this Franks memorandum, be the ones to investigate and get them removed, essentially.
Yeah, well, and for anyone watching, we'll do our Idaho 4 topics tonight, and then we'll do the Delphi updates tomorrow when we're recording the rest of this, and we'll really dig into those topics for, a case update on each. But I agree with you. I think there is wild stuff going on here.
It's
it is
a problem.
wild. And then when you see confirmed manipulative or abuse of power decisions that were made by a judge, to think that those couldn't continue here, I think that's illogical.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I feel like a lot of people that are blue blood, hardcore, have faith in the justice system blindly, no matter what, might look at that and think, she's not doing that. She's a judge. Come on. I mean, yeah, she's a judge. Come on. Look at her decisions that she's already made. Are we really to think that this couldn't be done further in this way?
And it's not impossible to have a dirty judge. Like, that is not impossible. She's a human being.
Yeah.
It's not impossible.
Wild stuff.
It is. But let us know what you think. And if you've noted, there's so many filings on this coming out regularly. There's always new little bits of information. We're always interested to hear your input and if you found anything interesting.
Yeah. Yeah.